Hello, this is Vnews broadcast daily, and following are today's headlines.
President Ttxvn talks with staff of the Vietnam Marine Police Department. Prime Minister Ttxvn orders measures to secure stock market development. The Thăng Long Imperial Citadel in Hanoi will become a large-scale historical park in the near future.
President Ttxvn talked with staff of the Vietnam Marine Police Department on March 5th. We find out more.
President Sang highlighted the efforts of the officers and soldiers of the force, especially those who are on duty to defend sea and island sovereignty, maintain law enforcement, and conduct search and rescue work on the country's territorial waters. The President affirmed that officers and soldiers have upheld the 5 traditions of the Vietnam Marine Police Force to overcome difficulties and challenges and were ready to sacrifice their lives to fulfill their assigned tasks. The 4th conference of the 10th tenure of the Vietnamese Communist Party Central Committee adopted the resolution on Vietnam's marine strategy until 2020 to turn the nation into a strong nation in terms of sea exploitation, said the President. To achieve the target, Sang suggested the Marine Police Force consolidate in terms of politics and ideology, raise training quality, promote the image of sea and islands, and expand friendly cooperation with other countries in the region and the world.
The Prime Minister has ordered ministries, branches and members of the stock market to closely coordinate on long-term measures to secure the development of the market.
One of the highlights of his request was the need to create new products, such as global depository certificates, and the need to establish a derivatives market. The Prime Minister urged the Finance Ministry to complete its scheme for the bond market by the 2nd quarter of this year, stressing that the volume of government bonds should be increased rather than the types of bonds in order to raise more funds for the economic and social needs of the state. The government has recently signed 3 significant documents on the development of the stock market. The process of restructuring the stock market this year would have 4 focuses, namely products, the structure of investors, securities companies, and the system of stock exchanges and the Vietnam Securities Depository Center. The issuance and implementation of regulations under the law on securities will follow the improvement of criteria for listing shares, particularly standards of profitability and corporate governance. These higher standards would be primarily aimed at improving the quality of new listings.
Vietnamese and Sri Lankan business people met in a forum in Hanoi on March 5th to discuss possibilities of business and investment linkages in the future. Let's have a look.
Almost 60 Vietnamese businesses were present at the event. They exchanged information with their Sri Lankan counterparts, seeking cooperative opportunities in a wide range of fields, including pharmaceutical, healthcare, real estate, seafood, and farm machinery. Sri Lankan businesses spoke highly of Vietnam's recent investment environment, saying it has helped boost the 2 countries' two-way trade consistently, reaching $113.2 million in 2011. Vietnam exports mainly machinery and equipment, fiber, plastics, tea and rubber products to Sri Lanka, while importing animal feed, clothes, cotton and textile and garment products.
Doctors and nurses from the police of Central Quảng Nam Province have come to the far-flung corners of the locality to give free medical checkups and medicines to ethnic minority people. Our reporter has more.
Upon the arrival of the doctors and nurses, hundreds of ethnic minority people in Ttxvn commune of the mountainous district of Nam Trà My gathered at the headquarters of the Communal People's Committee, waiting patiently for their turns to have their health examined. I am very happy to hear the news that doctors and nurses will turn up here to check our health. Today we don't work and all of us come here for medical examination. We have no longer followed backward South treatment customs.
I am touched by the responsibility and enthusiasm of police doctors and nurses. They have travelled a long, rough way to this disadvantaged, remote community to provide medical checkups and treatment for ethnic minority people. Local people are so happy. We have checked the health for around 300 people, mainly the elderly and children, and we expect to have more people coming.
Apart from providing medical examinations, diagnosis and medicines, the doctors and nurses have also given local ethnic minority people instructions on how to prevent common disease.
Photographer Hoàng Quốc Tuấn has won the first prize for his photo designed at the 11th International Photo Contest in Spain.
Organized by the Spanish Blind Association, the annual online photo contest looks to encourage blind people to integrate into society and call on the entire society to help people with disabilities. At this contest, other Vietnamese photographer Ngô Quang Phúc carried out the prize for the photo Ethnic Charm Teacher. Vietnamese photographers sent a total of 68 works to the event, 13 of which entered the final round.
The Thăng Long Imperial Citadel in Hanoi is expected to become a large-scale historical park in the near future. A project on the park in the Citadel Center and the other one on the museum in the basement of the National Assembly House are being developed by the Research Center for Imperial Cities. These projects aim to link the control and historical spaces of the Imperial Citadel.
Prime Minister Nguyen Dun Zum has approved a master plan for the Citadel relic at 18 Huangzhou Street, which will become a cultural and historical park covering an area of more than 45,000 square metres. Under the Prime Minister's instruction, the master plan has to meet the requirement of harmonious combination between the new National Assembly House and the historical and cultural park. Therefore, appropriate proportions and architectural harmony between the building and landscape in the area are required. The historical park will be divided into several areas, including an exposition zone in the relic area of the Citadel, combined with miniature models and landscaping. Projects built in the park will have to highlight the inherent value of the relic site, without commercialising it. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism and the Ministry of Transport have assigned Vietnam Institute of Architecture, Urban and Rural Planning to direct the architectural design operations, while the Research Centre for Imperial Cities is responsible for strategic consultancy to avoid spoiling the historical architecture. The highlight of the park will be the museum in the basement of the National Assembly House at 18 Huangzhou Street. At this area in 2003, scientists discovered over 4 million artefacts, such as tiled bricks, ironwood pillars, patterned stone statues and money from the Ding, Li and Tran dynasties. The Research Centre initiated the original idea of building a museum under the house, with the aim to connect the country's two important institutions, cultural and political, which bear the strong hallmark of historical culture. The National Assembly House has 5 floors and 2 basements. The museum is being built in the basements, which will become 2 large exhibit areas, with artefacts found in the process of National Assembly House construction. We will try to arrange these artefacts into the same positions as when we found them. Above the 2 basements, there is a floor which will display historical artefacts relating to the development of Vietnam's National Assembly. As the Citadel is located in a favourable position, surrounded by many important agencies of the government, in the near future, the open park is expected to link cultural space and political space, an important and beautiful highlight of Hanoi capital.
And that comes to the end of Vnews today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.